Welcome back to part 2. We are on panel 3 and we have some pre-cuts. We had two pieces that were 6 by 9 3/4 and we called them a fold out. And what we did was we laid these on our scoring board, so we were 6 inches across. We scored at a 1/2 inch and 5/8 inch on both of these. The next one we had was a 2 7/8 by 6 1/8, and we called it an FO pocket. We laid this on our scoring board, so we were 2 7/8 across. We scored it at a 1/2 inch. We turned, so now we are 6 1/8 across. We scored it at a 1/2 inch and 5 5/8. Let's grab our folio. We're going to attach this right on in there, and here's panel 3. We're going to first start with our fold outs, and we're just going to fold on those score lines. And it's such a long piece. Just try to get your score lines done as crisp as possible. Both of these. Alright, so we're going to have one with the hinge off to the right and one with the hinge off to the left. Let's start with that. So we have two score lines. We have an inside and an outside. On that outside one, let's pinch and crease. And what we're going to do is add glue. We'll pinch that back behind, and we will come straight on up even with our little piece here, because that's our inner spine, so that's helpful. And we're going to stay away at least a 1/16 of an inch from that. So about a 1/16 of an inch away. Make sure I'm straight. And we'll burnish that down. Open it up. Burnish. And wipe up any glue that wants to seep on you. Okay. So now that you had that, you can just keep it flat down, because you can use that as a guide. When we put this one on, same thing, our flaps over here and the score line closest to that we'll pinch on, and then we can line it up with this one. But make sure you're a 1/16 away from that score line. So I'm going to bring this down closer so I don't get my head in the video. Sometimes I like to show people before we actually do it so they can get an idea of what's going on rather than flying blind, especially on this. So I am a 1/16 inch away from that, and I'm just going to make sure that when this is flattened down, this comes even down here with my other one. And it's going to go over, of course. Right now it'll just lay over. So we will flatten that out. Clean up any glue. Okay, so now we can kind of fold back on those other score lines, and then what it will do is create like it'll create our little spacing. So there we go. And it looks like I need to burnish this down just a little bit more, get a little more glue under there. Did not quite get that all the way down. And then I'll clean up any glue there. There we go, much better. And that's going to get covered anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, pushing back a little on that, and then pushing so it's nice and flat like it's supposed to be. And what you'll want to do is when you push it back, they should come together, and there might be a little bit of crease in between, and that's how I kind of had that going. But the crease should be pretty even in between your two. Not crease, but spacing, I guess I should say. So let me show you. I'm just going to stick this back underneath so you can kind of see. what I'm talking about. So now you can see there is a spacing between these two. And if you want to just push them in a little closer, that's fine, as long as you are where you should be. In your paper pack, you will find this gorgeous print. On the back, it looks like this. We're going to turn it sideways. The rose is down here. We're going to measure over 9 3/4 and cut. This is what you should have. Flip it completely upside down where the rose is up here. Measure over 10.5 inches and cut. This is what you should have. Let's grab our folio. And right in between, we have these open. We're going to center that in between those score lines, top and bottom, and we're going to glue that down. So I'm going to get my glue out here. And we're just going to get that right on in there. Perfect. All right, it is time to set, we're going to close this really quick, and it is time to set the mate on here, over here. So I will show you first, and then you can do yours. So all we're going to do is take the adhesive off the mate that we had over here. Now this is important. You have this little spacing 1/2 inch, remember the inner spine? Now when we bring this over, you're going to hold on to it and you're going to bring it over to where it's flat over here like it's supposed to be, and you're going to bring this down to the bottom. So I'm going to do the best I can. And that looks pretty good. And when I think I have it where it needs to be, I'm going to press. Okay. Okay, then what I'm going to do, so I don't tear it off, is just kind of shimmy it down a little. And now we've set that mate, and that is going to help us. Now that we have that, we do need to get our decorative paper in here. But I want to get our paper for right here, right now. In your paper pack, you will have this beautiful print. On the back side, it looks like this. So you have writing like this, and what we're going to do is we're just going to turn this sideways. So now your writing is sideways here. We're going to measure over 9.5 inches and cut. So this is what you should have. We're going to make 2 cuts. With the lighter roses up here, your curtain is over here. I call it a curtain. We're going to measure over 5 1/8 and cut. We're going to measure over again 5 1/8 and cut. And this is what you should have. Now we're working on the outside right now. So we're going to center that right on in there on each of the top panels, and we're going to glue that down. I have both of mine down. We'll finish up out here in just a moment. We're going to open these up and work on the inside now. In your paper pack, you will have this print. On the back, it looks like this. Turn it sideways, measure over 9.5 inches, and cut. So we're going to do 2 separate cuts, so one at a time. Our first one is measuring over 5 1/8 and cut. This is what you should have. Stick that over there. The leftover, we're going to turn it upside down. So the dress is upside down over here. We're going to measure over 5 1/8 and cut. There we go. So let's go ahead and apply glue, and so you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just going to stick that right behind so you can see where the edges are. But we're just going to glue that down. We're going to center it right on in that panel and glue that down. And then over here, we're going to apply glue, and we are going to center that and glue that down. So let's do that really quick. I've got mine glued down. Let's set this off to the side for just a moment to give us some, whoops, I bumped the camera, to give us some room. We have a pre-cut here, the 2 7/8 by 6 1/8 faux pocket. In the corners, we're going to cut out those squares, then we're going to fold on the score lines, and then we're going to assemble the pocket. Okay, we'll fold in the sides, get these tacked down. Let's grab our folio, and on the inside panel over here, we're going to place that. And the opening is here. In your reserves, you will find this piece. It is 12 inches long. On the back, it looks like this. And it is 2.5 inches this way. So we're going to have to cut this down. We're going to look at it like this, with the roses over here and the wood grain is up here, the blue is over here. Measure over 5 1/8 and cut. So this is what you should have. Let's turn it this way. Measure over 2 1/4 and cut. This piece should now fit. If we bring it all the way to the bottom of the pocket, it'll give us a nice black lip there. Let's glue this down. And it looks like the writing would be upside down, so let's go with the wood like this. So it looks like if I do it the other way, writing would be upside down. Make sure I got that on straight there. Okay, so there's our pocket. We're almost done with this page. Let's close that up, and we're going to set this aside. We're going to get our pieces for this. In your reserves, you will find this print. On the back is this, but what you're looking for is this. So what we're going to do is cut that out. We'll put this in reserves, and it'll come in from this side. That is such a pretty image. We'll put that in reserves, and we will cut around this. And I'm not going to cut into the crack there. I'm just going to go, or the tear, I'm just going to go straight down with it. I'll put those in reserves. Set that aside. In your reserves, on this piece, we are going to cut out and around the violin. And there's no way for me not to get those out. I'll just cut out and around that. I won't get on that. But I am going to cut out and around the violin. I might as well cut out and around the rose. So I'll show you what mine looks like as soon as I'm done here. I have my little pieces here. And first thing we're going to do is we will be backing this, but not individually. We're going to just kind of lay your, here's your music sheet, lay your violin to where the tip of these little guys do hit the paper. Just kind of add a slant there. And I'm going to get this started. So just going to kind of put a little glue down there. I don't need it at the tip. This one, let's apply glue and maybe slide it back underneath a little bit here. So we'll glue this down underneath the violin a little. So I glued the tip down up there to help keep this stable for me. There we go. Now we're just going to glue this whole thing down, this violin down. And some of it is going to come off the side here. Just make sure you got it down. Wipe up any glue. Get that all down. Okay, now is the time for some black cardstock. What we're going to do is we're going to apply glue to this, and make sure you get that little piece there. So we'll apply it to some black cardstock, and then we're going to cut out and around this to kind of frame it and give it a little black border, just a little bit, and then we will position this a certain way on those front panels. So let's get started with that, and I'll show you what mine looks like in just a moment. So this is what mine looks like. Let's grab our book. And we want to place this down so we can still slide, and it's only going to go to one side so that when it opens up you can actually get in there. But you want to be able to slide something back behind like a photograph. So what I'm going to do is place something here for like a little marker. And what I'm going to do is just apply glue from the edge down. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, and I can always fix this, but I do need to grab some scrap paper here. I'm just going to throw this underneath. So I just want it along the edge down here, but like I said, I want to be able to still tuck something. So I'm just going to place that right there. And I think that's going to get it just enough on one side of that panel right at the edge. I can still slide something in there. Plus, if I wanted to slide something this way, I could too. And now when we open that up, there's a place right here for a photograph or whatever you would like to do. Okay, here on our cut apart sheet, I think we can make good use of this, cutting it down a little just to fit over here. So I'm just going to cut this out. We won't be backing it, of course. So I'm going to put this on my paper cutter now to make sure I have a nice straight edge and across here. So I kind of made sure mine was a little even, but all I'm going to do here is do a measure to fit. So I think I'll just come down like this. It's not going to be perfect, but I'll push it up against the side over here. Make sure I see some black. And I'm going to get my pencil out. And I can see where the edge of that is. So I'm just going to make my little pencil mark, and I'm going to trim. And all this is doing is just kind of filling in that black part. So I think that's good. And then I think I'll put something else there. So I'm going to make my mark down here where I need to be. And cut that. And let's see. And I can fit that now. So I'm just going to glue that right on down. Glue. So when I open it, it just helps it from not being just a black thing there. All right. So I've been wanting to get my hands on this. And which one do we want to use? Let's grab, I think we'll grab Dream. So we'll cut out and around Dream on our little cut apart. And we're just going to stick it down right there. I don't think we need to back that. I think I just want to do it as is. Right on those keys. Panel 3 is complete. Oh, and by the way, let's try our closure. So I'm going to hold that down, and I hear it latching. That's what I like to hear. And that's going to help. I have nothing dragging down right now. And once we get these on, it's going to help. So my idea with the magnets was a good idea to help us out. Okay, panel 4, here we come. We're on panel 4. We have 2 pre-cuts. Let's begin. We had a 9 7/8 by 11 1/4, and we called this a spine hinge. Now what we did was we laid this on our scoring board, so we were 11 1/4 across. We scored at 1/2 and 3/4. Next, we had a 2 7/8 by 11 1/2 piece. We called it a pocket. We laid this on our scoring board, so we were 2 7/8 across. We scored it at 1/2. We then turned it. We scored at 1/2. And we scored it at 11. Okay, I'm going to set this up to the side. Let's grab our folio. And we'll just open that right on up. We're going to grab our 9 7/8 by 11 1/4 spine hinge, and we're going to fold on that. And this gets attached directly in the book. Okay, our hinge is going to be off to the left side. So on that outside scoring line, we're going to pinch and crease it. And we're going to be doing like we've done before. We're going to add our glue to the hinge here. And what we're going to do is we are going to place this, and we're going to do the same thing as we've done before. Stay a 1/16 away from our little score line over there. We're going to line it up with the bottom of our piece here. And it should just about reach the top. And we're going to burnish. Open it up. And now we can push back against that other one and kind of make it so it's kind of flat against our hands there. And it should fit right on in. Let's open that up. We're going to work on the inside. In your paper pack, you will have this beautiful piece. On the back, it looks like this. We're going to turn it sideways. The violin's down here. We're going to measure over 9 3/4 and cut. So this is what we should have. Turn it upside down. It's now, the image is up here. And on this one, I think we're going to measure over, the other one on the big panel we did about 10 1/2. But we're going to go just a little longer. So measure over 10 5/8 and cut. Perfect. Let's apply glue, and we are going to center it in between those 2 score lines, center it top and bottom, and then we're going to burnish that down. That looks so pretty. Lots of places for photos here. I have mine down, and we'll work on getting our piece for on the inside over here. In your paper pack, you will have this. On the back, it is this. Turn it sideways. On this one, we're going to measure over 9 5/8 and cut. And this is what you should have. Oh, on this one, how do I want to play this out? I don't want to cut too much of that window off. We'll look at it like this. We're going to measure over 10 1/4 inches and cut. Let's see how that fits. If we were to place it down, give ourselves a little border, and we will have enough space away from that hinge there. And I think that looks great. Let's glue that down. And all I'm going to do here is to burnish. I'm going to just open that up so I can lay that kind of flatter. That looks really good. Let's close that, and we're going to find our paper for this. In your paper pack, you will find this beautiful print. On the back it looks like this. Turn it sideways, measure over 9 5/8 and cut. Now for the cover, we're going to have a different cut because we're going to bring it closer to the edges. We're going to measure over 10 3/8 and cut. Now place this down. You will center that side to side, top to bottom. And I'm going to press back against my hinge there so it lays flat, and I am going to glue that down. Once we're done burnishing, what we're going to do is get our last piece pre-cut, our pocket out. Let's get that baby down in the corners. Let's cut out those squares. And we're going to assemble the pocket. Now, do not worry about the mates on this. We will have something up here, and we'll cover that. But we do have to get this down before we can pull it over. So let's fold on those score lines. And we're going to assemble this. Now this pocket should fit just about side to side or side to side for us, so it's really big. So as soon as we get this down, we will get our mates to those magnets. So place this down. This should reach side to side. Now you don't want it to go over, so you can pucker it up just a little bit if needed to keep it on that black cardstock. This is a spacious pocket. So for me, I am just going to start over here and not going over. And then I'll bring it over here and go to the edge of that. Get those sides down and then press. Boy, that looks really good. Okay, let's get those mates ready to go. So again, what you're going to want to do is make sure that if you flattened yours out to burnish, make sure you push this back so it is flat on the edges and it's lined up where it should be. We'll come over here and release this. And we're going to release this. Okay, so we should be able to just bring this over. Don't let it get loose yet, because right over here, you notice how it goes like this, because it's a folio, it's supposed to move. We're going to just bring that right on top and make sure that we are flat here and flat here, so keep a hold of it, and then mash it down here so those magnets can fit. Get where they need to be. Now just kind of shimmy it up to release. Now we're placed. Great! We're going to find our paper for this, and then we're going to find our little cut apart for up there. But we're going to do something a little different down here after we get our paper down. In your paper, or in your reserves, you will have this piece. It is 12 inches long. It is 2 1/4 inches this way, which is perfect for us. We just need to cut it down. So the idea here is to try and match it up with our decorative paper coming down, and I believe we did a 9 or 10 3/8 up here, and we did. Okay, measure over 10 3/8 and cut. Now that we have that, make sure you get around that magnet. And there's something else that I would like us to do. Okay, so I'm just centering that side to side. You'll see black cardstock to the bottom. I got my lip. Looks pretty even there. And okay, this is what I wanted to try. And on this piece in your reserves, notice how we have cut out and around and it's left that uneven edge, I kind of want to go with it. So I'm just going to come over here and I'll just weave up and around this one and come out. So this is my idea what it's supposed to look like. Is when I cut it, it's going to be uneven and kind of looking like, I don't know, I just like it. All right, if you don't want to do that, you can always cut straight across, but I do want that uneven because I thought it looked kind of cool to me. Adds a little something. Measure over 10 3/8 and cut. I do like that. Let's glue it down on over there. If you don't, like I said, you can, we're at the end of the tutorial to where you could use something else, but I do like that look, how it just kind of uneven over the other. Looks good to me. Let's grab this back out. And what would I like to use? In order to succeed, we must first believe we can. Yep. That is true. And if you've never made a mini album before or folio, but you watch these and you're getting the courage to even try it, this would apply to you. Believe that you can, and you will. Does not have to be perfect. And I want to back that. I definitely do. Let's grab some cardstock. We'll cut out and around this, leaving a black border so it doesn't get lost in the background. And this is really easy to cut out. Some images take me quite a while to, because I shake a lot sometimes, and it just takes me a while to do some of these fussy cuts. So I just tell myself, be patient, take your time. It will happen. Well, that is as good as I think I'm going to get mine. Right up here, we're going to glue it over that magnet, but we are going to leave it so in case you want to tuck something up underneath there. So we want to get around the magnet. Make sure you get that glue. Whoops, like I said, not all the way. Shame on me. Bad girl. That should be enough right up here. Now I'm going to stick this down for just a minute because I went way too far with my glue. Just sop up some of that. Bring it to the top and press. Okay, I'm looking at these side by side. I'm in our cut apart. See this rose here? Let's cut this one out. I have mine cut out, and I think I want to go something like this, just to give it a right like that. Kind of just finishing up here before we head on to our last panel. Just a little more color over there without covering up our image. Ooh, I see something I might have to do. You see this? Let's just see what this looks like. If it doesn't look right, and that did get detached. The ballet slippers is really pretty, and I wanted to use that, but I may not. I may use it on a folder or something. Okay, let's cut out and around this rose. I fussy cut mine out, and I think what I'm going to do is just glue that right over here. I'm not going to back it with anything. I don't think I need to for this. So we've got a saying up here. We back that down here, and just that. Let's see, is there anything else I would like to add? Okay, I'm sold. The bow. Let's just see what that looks like. have mine cut out. And I don't think I'm going to back that, but I think I'll just bring it down right like that. Yeah, I'm not going to back that. If you'd like to back yours, you think it would look better, do so. Right about here, somewhere in the middle there. Okay, our panel 4 is complete. We can close that up. It should all latch nicely. And if you would go like this, you shouldn't have any drag. Let's finish up our folio with panel 5. I have the perfect piece from our reserves for panel 5. And it's this one. Oh, that is so pretty. Now we're going to have to cut off a little bit of something here to get it to fit, because it's going to be way too tall. So in your reserves you'll find this. It's 12 inches. And on the back it's this. If you're working with the same paper, you're going to see this. But what I'd like you to do is right underneath the violin, let's just shave this off and see if we can't get this to fit. I think we'll be okay. See, I trimmed that off just a little bit. Let's turn it this way. Measure over 9 3/4 and cut. That's the best we're going to get. And I think that looks good. Okay, turn this upside down. Measure over 5 1/4 inches and cut. Let's apply glue, and it goes right into this panel. And boy, that sure looks like it just blends all together nicely. I like it. This paper is amazing. I don't know what you feel about it after working with it, but it's very easy to work with. The images are beautiful. And you really don't have to be into music to enjoy this. At least I don't think. I like albums just because of the images. If it looks good, it's nice. Unless I have to go for a certain theme, then of course I'll try to find paper that goes for a certain thing. But this is music. This could be ballet. This could be an everyday album. Whatever it is that you'd like it to be. Okay. Let's make sure we have this all done here. Looks good. Our folio is complete. I hope that you've enjoyed it. You should be able to go like this and not have something goop out from underneath. Those magnets worked. It's beautiful. Now remember in the beginning I said we don't do our picture mats together, and that is all according to taste. Everybody has their own size pictures that they like to print out. Some like to do smaller wallet size so they can get more in their album. Some like 4x6 standard, some 3.5x5 and whatnot, or cropped. So I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. It was a lot of fun to make this with you. Happy crafting, everyone, and I will see you real soon.